myself in the room just because we've got so much natural light today and it's quite nice not to have the blinds shut. So just coming to standing with your feet approximately hip width apart. And let's bring ourselves to Tadasana. So bringing your body weight forward slightly into the front of your feet, into your toes, so they're gripping slightly, and then gently rolling back, bringing the weight into the heels, lifting the toes, just starting to challenge the body's balance just a little, seeing where we're at with it today. And then let's take the weight and awareness into the outer edges of our feet. Resist the temptation to look at your feet when we're doing feet exercises. Just find something to look at in front of you. And then let's roll to the inner arches of our feet. And then find a neutral place. Just give your your toes, lift and spread and wiggle your toes, and then lay them down, if you can, one at a time, as if you're kind of playing the piano. Just sort of, yeah, good idea, Tina. If any of you have got socks on, it might be a good idea to take them off. And then coming to stillness in your feet. And let's bring our awareness now to our hips and get the, try and visualize your hips being directly over your ankles. So maybe you need to play with the tilt of your pelvis. Maybe you need to tuck your pelvis up. So we don't want our bum stuck out here. We want to be neatly curled in. We want to be taking as little space as possible. I've forgotten which plane of movement that's called, but we want to fit between two bits of glass. There you go. Just for the claustrophobic amongst us who would hate that idea. And then bringing your awareness to your ribs, making sure they're lifted. Shoulders, let's just give them a little bit of a roll round, up and back, and bring them to settle where they're very slightly squeezed in towards each other. All good. Tracy's heating's kicked in. And then finding your place where your shoulders or your upper arms are in an external rotation. So your palms are gently facing forward. So we're standing in a lovely upright and intentional posture, but we're not ramrod straight like soldiers with our chests tucked out. So we're purposeful, but not rigid. And now I invite you to just close your eyes or lower your gaze. And let's just come to stillness in Tadasana here. And bring our awareness to how, even though we're firmly rooted in our 2 feet, the body is still balancing us here. So maybe tucking your chin slightly. Just become aware of the sensations that are present this morning. It's quite early for you guys. Maybe you've literally just got out of bed. Maybe you've already been out for a run. I bet Shona's already been out for a run. So just seeing what we're dealing with this morning. See where you're aware of the flow of energy or not. Noticing if there are any areas of tightness. And bring a sense of heaviness to your shoulders. See if you can really let your shoulders drop down here. Bring your focus back to your feet. Are you still standing squarely and evenly over the 4 corners of your feet, if you know what I mean by that? Noticing if you have a tendency to take your body weight out to the sides or maybe rolling your feet in. Just noticing where you're at right now. No need to adjust anything. And let's bring our attention to the breath now. How are we breathing in this standing posture? We don't often start our sessions with our settling and grounding being upright, but I thought it would be nice just to shake things up a bit today. Noticing your breath. Have a quick check-in with your fingers. Are you allowing them to softly curl in towards the palms as they would probably naturally do? Just making sure we're not holding any unnecessary tension anywhere while we're observing the breath. Let's bring our awareness to some belly breaths now. So really ensure that your belly is soft and that the diaphragm is able to move freely as we take our breath in. Now, keeping the intention of our lovely lengthened and lifted spine, bringing your hands now to just encircle your rib cage. So for us girls, just perhaps underneath your bra strap, perhaps at the widest point of your ribs is the best way to describe it. Just bring your hands to circle around. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I just want you to hold your ribs gently. So maybe your elbows are winging out to the side, maybe they're behind you, it doesn't matter. Now trying to release the shoulders again, so we're nice and heavy in the shoulders. Bring your awareness to the flaring of your ribs as you breathe here. So we're not only bringing the visualization to the outward motion of our ribs and the ribs moving into the side body, we can actually feel it today. So we've got, I think this is called kinesthetic. So we actually have a tangible hold on what's going on. So just marveling at the movement. So this incredible structure, the rib cage, of how it protects everything that's vital in our body, apart from our brains, obviously. And yet it has such flexibility. There's so much range of movement in the ribs, between the ribs, the intercostal muscles. Checking in once more with your shoulders, make sure you haven't invited any unnecessary tension and hitched your shoulders up by your ears. Now just taking your hands away now from the ribs, letting them come back down by your sides. Let the palms gently turn outwards, let the fingertips curl again. And checking in with the posture once more, let's return our attention to the lift and the length of the spine. Maybe we need to tuck the pelvis a little bit again. Perhaps we've come out of alignment. Tuck the chin slightly. And bring your visualization now to your collarbones. And imagine if you could see beneath the skin, thinking about the rib structure, collarbone sitting above the very top of the rib cage. And imagine the tops of your lungs just nestled there. And see if you can visualize the very tops of the lungs as they inflate with each inhale. So actually using the very tops of your lungs takes a little bit of practice, but it's a learned skill actually. Ordinarily, I think, unless we're working really hard, puffing, panting, running, that kind of thing, it's not until we deepen our breath that more of the lungs are utilized. So just when we're doing in a passive state, such as now, it's quite difficult to actually feel that we're using every part of the lung. So maybe you need to deepen your breath here to actually become aware of it. You might feel your neck muscles engage. Just bring an awareness there if you're not feeling it today. Just a few more rounds of breathing with the visualization in the very tops of our lungs. And now let the breath find its own rhythm and its own rate, and you can gently open your eyes, start to wiggle your fingers, and just bring a bit of movement back to your structure. We've been standing still for quite a while. And actually, it's quite a rare thing for us to find complete stillness while we're in a woken state. So it's nice just to bring your attention to that and actually be in the moment of being totally still. To catch ourselves being still is a rarity. So just finding your stance once more. And let's just start to bring some movement into our fingers and our arms and gently twist from one side to the other. So let's start with just the rib cage moving. So try and keep your hips square to the front. And let's just try and make this an upper body thing. So really, really let your arms be floppy and heavy. Giving yourself a good old slap. And now let's start to involve the hips. So take whatever movement feels nice in, maybe bending the legs as you go. Be a little creative. If you want to start doing some twisting, then do. We're just waking up the body. It's a nice morning practice where we want to energize. So bringing what feels natural to you. Andy, I can tell you do this every morning. Look at you swinging away there. I'm glad I can't hear what you're saying back. It's probably not polite. So then slowly starting to bring it down again. So bringing the movement just to the upper body, starting to slow stuff down, being a little less vigorous with this. And then slowly coming to stillness. And let's just zip the feet and the legs together here now. So zipping everything up, bringing your awareness back to your posture. And gently, we're just going to do this for a couple of rounds of breath. I want you to close your eyes. Now that we've woken up our physical body, try and bring stillness into your mind and just notice what you're aware of since we started moving vigorously. You might feel how hard your feet are working at the moment. Now we've got our feet together, you might suddenly be aware, now that we've got our eyes closed, this is a real balance job here now. We've got energy coursing through the system, waiting to deploy somewhere, and here we are trying to stand in complete stillness. And it actually feels like there's a bit of work going on. Anyway, that's just an observation. So gently letting the eyes open now, wiggling your fingers. Let's just widen the stance here for a second and start to bump the hips from side to side. Let's wake up the lateral body here, just noticing how that feels. So we're awakening the spine in a completely different way today. Bring your awareness to your abs here now. Obviously, we're going to focus on our abs and core here and see if you're actually aware of these oblique muscles here actually coming into play as we take these hip bumps. So this isn't a massive movement that we're doing here at the moment, but if you place your fingertips sort of just beneath your rib cage, you'll be very aware of the muscles that are at work here. So coming to stillness once more, bringing your attention to your posture, tucking the pelvis in. Slowly tuck the chin in towards the chest, and let's start to take a forward fold here. So we're just starting to go down one vertebrae at a time. Let your shoulders and arms be really heavy here. Let them dangle so that you're letting gravity take them. And stop when you think you're halfway. So you're kind of in this halfway flat back position. And really just bring your attention to the heaviness of your arms and shoulders. So you should feel an awakening in your hamstrings here. And now just bend into your knees slightly. So we're not going straight legged here. We're taking the tension out of the hamstrings, but we're going to continue with our journey downwards. So our knees are bent, not by a huge amount, but they are bent. And we're taking this stretch more into our glutes now. So it's the upper end of the hamstring where it goes into our glutes. And again, wherever you get to, maybe you've got a block handy, or there you go, Adele, we knew your bolster would come in handy. If you need to bring the floor up to meet your hands, then do so. This is not about not being able to do something properly. It's meeting your body where it's at today. I'm going to use my little bolster here. And just taking a moment here with the chin tucked in, looking back through your legs, enjoying this forward fold, where we're really quite active into the glutes at the back here. So we've taken the tension out of the hamstrings behind the knee by bending the knees, and it's all about the hips here, the glutes into the hips. Now I want you to bring your awareness to your belly and draw your ab muscles in. So we found an engagement. Maybe your belly is resting on your thighs. It's all good. That's where we kind of want to be. So really keeping that belly tucked in. We are slowly, one vertebrae at a time, going to roll back up. I want you to keep that engagement in your belly. Arms are still heavy. It's really hard keeping the engagement in the belly muscles here. And coming all the way up to the top, gently looping the shoulders and coming back to an upright position. Now, how many of us, as we rolled up, were holding our breath? I cannot hold my belly muscles without holding my breath. I don't know why. Maybe it was the same for you. So sometimes just bringing an awareness to that. Right, we're going to do something a little bit odd now. You may have done this before. You may have seen this before. It's not a party trick, and I'm not going to horrify you all by baring my belly. I'm going to turn sideways on. But I want you to find this kind of squat, and I want you to lean on your thighs here. And what we're going to do, I will attempt to do it in a way that you can see it. We're going to exhale all the air from our lungs. And once we've got empty lungs, we're going to suck our tummies up. This is quite a knack. Often if you say to someone, breathe in, they'll go, and make themselves taller. What we're doing, we need to breathe all the air out, make lots of room, and suck our bellies up. And then once we've sucked our bellies up, on a retained breath, we're going to just let the stomach muscles go in and out. And it will look like this. I'm not actually doing it at the moment because it's impossible to do this move whilst talking and breathing. But this is actually called belly churning, and it's absolutely amazing, A, for the tummy muscles, and B, for the internal organs. I'm hoping none of you have had a full English yet, or it might make a reappearance if you have. But so I'll just give that as a warning. So I'll give it a go. You can join me if you like. So we're bending over here. I want you to exhale fully. I'm going to stop talking now. And there'll come a point where you need to breathe. So do that. I can only really do maybe 15, 20 before I need to breathe. So it's literally the first thing to do is to find that place where you can actually suck your tummies up. That's the greatest knack. If you can do that, that's one part of the move that will still be beneficial. Even if you can't, then let the muscles go and then suck them back in again. So give it another go. Really just get all the air out of your lungs and then suck your tummy in. So you can try it really slowly, but the knack is once you've managed to suck your tummy in, you'll know if you can do it because you'll suddenly feel half the size you usually are. It's really weird. Everything seems to disappear and you get this concaving of your tummy. How many of you are actually getting the feeling that you're doing that? Or is it just absolutely hilarious? It's quite a skill and it's a knack.
It's a bit weird, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is a bit weird. Yeah, I didn't promise normality with this, but this is something that's very, very beneficial to do. And if I can, I'll find a little link to somebody doing it where they've got a bare torso, so you can see exactly what's going on. Now, if you're really gifted, I can only suck in and out, in and out. If you're really gifted, you can churn your tummy muscles this way. I can't do it. I have no clue how to make those muscles do that, but that's where we could go with this. Auntie and Adele, can you do it? Yeah. Let's give it one more go. Just concentrate on moving the tummy and all the intestines up. Let's just concentrate on that. So ditch all the air first of all. And then breathe. Oh, Linda, I've never seen you concentrate so much. Well done, everyone. Did you all get a feeling that we're heading towards the right thing? It's not only is it a fun thing to do, actually it's a brilliant thing to do first thing in the morning when you get up, and you can admire yourself in the mirror and think, where's my tummy gone? This is about the only time my tummy disappears, so I quite like doing that. But I will send you a little clip it's difficult for me to demonstrate, and I certainly don't want to bring my belly out at the moment. Post-Christmas belly is not for general participation. So, right, let's take our feet nice and wide here now that we've had a little playtime, and just bump the hips from side to side again. Maybe you're aware of your tummy having done some work here. And very slowly, we're going to start to bend into our knees. Try and get the sense that you're taking your pelvis directly down. So we're not coming in this sort of position. We are literally just moving straight down. And then with our legs down, let's stay here in this position. Tilt your pelvis so that you're aware that these obliques have kicked in. And let's take the arms up overhead. So we're just going to hold this position for a moment. Tracy, not cactus arms at the moment. Take your arms up straight. That's it. And then as we straighten the legs, we're going to come into cactus arms. And then we're going to go down. So reaching up overhead, fingertips are straight, and then down we come. So imagine that your hands are by your ears, and then take them out again and up. So palms are facing towards each other. Down we go again, leaving the arms up. Let's hold it there, down into cactus arms. Up, going a little bit lower this time. Really tuck your pelvis under. Let's tune in, connect with your abs here, and slowly up. Last time, down we go. Tuck the pelvis. We are here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and oh, down we go. Take a little shift from foot to foot. So we've warmed our legs up now. We're trying to warm everything up before we really get into the middle here. So from here, we are going to, oh no, I've just realised that my mat is the wrong way around. I'm really, really strange about this. I don't know if you're the same. My mat is the wrong way around. It would make my teeth itch. I can't practice if it's the wrong way around. So coming to the top of your mats. And just bringing an awareness to your feet. Feet are hip width apart here. Let's take the arms up and overhead. Take your shoulders right by your ears here, and then let them slide down. So get to where you feel that your arms are up, but you're not wearing your shoulders. And then on an exhale, we're going to forward fold, bending the knees generously. Hands come down to the mat. So bellies are on our thighs here. And then on an inhale, we're coming to halfway lift. So hands come to thighs or shins. Flat back here, really straighten the legs, feel the hamstrings. And then exhale down, hands come down to the floor. And we're going to step back with our right foot, and we're going to step back with our left foot. And from here, just playing, I want you to roll forward and back on your tucked toes. So we're starting to, well, we're working here through our hamstrings, but we're starting to engage with the core muscles that hold us strong. If you're hypermobile in your arms like I am in my elbows, you might want to dial your fingers in towards each other a little. So just exploring forward and back. If this is too much already and your wrists ache or you don't feel strong enough, just lower your knees. We can still do this and get the same benefits. But if you can, come to hold your position in plank, so bum is down, you're pushing your mat away, you're very active in your shoulders, you're very active in your feet, your heels are spiked away, your legs are active, your thighs are alight, and push, push, push away. Just bring your awareness to your abs. They're holding you strong here. And then let's drop to the knees, untuck the toes, and very slowly and carefully, winging the elbows in towards the body, let's start to lower ourselves down. Keeping the engagement in the core. Get to halfway, hold it, feel your triceps engage, and let's push ourselves back up again. Take your bum back towards child's pose. Start to push the top of the mat away. We're not stopping there. We're going to carry on with our journey. We're coming back towards the front, staying on our knees, coming all the way forward into a little hanging cobra. We're not going to stay here. We're going to go straight back again. And then for those of you who want to take full plank, let's do that now. So tucking one foot, then the other. Let's rise up into plank. For those of you on your knees, that's absolutely fine. Just find the push from the mat. Really engage with your core muscles here. Push the mat away. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower to your knees and slowly, slowly turning the elbows so that they graze your rib cage as you come down. Nose is pointing out beyond the end of your mat, so we're in a nice straight line. Lower to halfway. Let's hold ourselves there on our triceps. Be aware of the whole of your front body being in a stretch here. And then slowly, let's go all the way down this time. So we're laying on our tummies. Make a little pillow with your palms and rest your head for a moment. So we're just going to take a moment to catch our breath, give our triceps a break as we're slowly increasing the load into our belly muscles. And then slowly, thumbs come to armpits. Wing the shoulders in towards each other and the elbows, and slowly let's bring ourselves back up, tucking both the toes here, and let's bring ourselves into downward facing dog. So this is the first dog of the day. Let's ease into it. Maybe you want to walk the feet one at a time, really pushing through the hamstrings, so trying to send the chest back towards the thighs. Again, sucking the tummy in here. So just like when we were doing the belly churning, we want to send our hips high here and tuck that belly in. Really become aware of the engagement in the ab muscles. So let's find a moment of stillness here where we're high in the hips. I'm going to have a quick look at you. Oh, some lovely looking dogs. A couple of you, I can only see your bums, but they look all right. And from here, just taking your awareness or bring your gaze towards your hands. And as you do so, lift your right leg and bring it in towards your right wrist. So it's like a mountain climber, right knee to right wrist, and then take it back again. Push yourself back into downward facing dog. Bring your gaze forward, left knee to left wrist. And back again. Back into downward facing dog. We're going to do this a few times and we're going to vary it. If it becomes too much or you've had enough, either take downward dog or send yourself to your knees and take extended child's pose. Your choice, but we're going to work through this. For those of you who wanted this cool workout, you're jolly well going to get it. So here we go. So gaze comes forward. In fact, this time let's take the right leg up. Take it up high. Try and put the left heel down if you can. And once you're there, dial the toes of the right foot in. That just ensures that our hips are square. Then from here, send the gaze forward as we bring nose to wrist. So we're looking forward beyond the end of the mat here. Let's take it back up again. This time, knee comes to opposite wrist. Body weight comes forward. Let's take it up again. This time, knee is coming to the outer edge of the right wrist. And it's going up again. And then this time we're going over to the left, to the outer edge of the wrist. And up again. Let's bring that foot down, drop to knees, extended child's pose. Let's just take a moment to gather ourselves, to think, why on earth have we got up early to do this today? We can still be in bed with a nice cup of coffee. You'll thank me later. So taking a moment here, and then coming back to all fours. Maybe you want to stay here. If you want to carry on and lengthen out the other side, let's get back into our downward facing dog. Taking a moment to set ourselves up nicely with our hand position. And then bringing the right foot very slightly closer towards the middle of the mat and placing the right heel down. Let's take the left leg up. So maybe your shape doesn't look like my shape. It's fine, it doesn't have to. So just bringing the leg high is a good start. And then dialing the toes inward, so we inwardly rotate that left hip. And then gazing forward, we're going to bring the knee to the wrist. Same knee, same wrist. And we're going to take it back up high. This time we're going to bring left knee to right wrist. And then we're going to take it up high. And then we're going to bring left knee to the outer side of the wrist. And then we're going to bring it up high. And then we're going to bring it to the inside of the wrist. And then we're going to bring it up high. And then we're going to place it down very gently. Take a couple of breaths here. And then lower to the knees and take extended child's pose. Really push the mat away with your fingertips here. Come up onto the fingertips. Push the mat away with the pads of your fingers. And then slowly coming up into your hands, move the hands forward a few inches or centimeters, whatever your preferred measurement is. And let's bring the hips forward, maybe widening the knees, and just take a little cobra here. If you've got any pinching in your back, please lower right down. But otherwise, let's just support ourselves here in cobra. Our elbows are winging in towards each other. We're nice and long in the neck and the cervical spine, looking straight down. And then let's slowly push ourselves back to our knees for our very last bit of work in this position. So finding your downward facing dog, hips are high. We're going to move the left foot slightly towards the midline of the mat. Take the right leg high again, gazing between the thumbs. And then as we bring our knee in and down, we're bringing our knee to our nose. So tuck your head right in. We're going to hold this for 3, 2, 1, and take that leg high again. We're going to do this 3 times, and I really want you to suck your ab muscles in. In we go again. So bring your awareness to your abs. Really connect with the breath and the muscles that work here. Let's take it back up. Last time, knee to nose, really curl in. Push that mat away, so make sure your shoulders are open. And then let's take the leg up and slowly bring it back down. Drop to knees and take child's pose. It's really hard doing this and talking as well, I have to say. Well, let's not stay here too long. Let's come back up and do the other side. If you've had enough, just make sure whatever you do, if you're resting, that it's symmetrical with what you've done on one side. So take a lesser version, but let's still do it. So bringing the right foot towards the center of the mat, we're going to raise the left leg up. Glance between the thumbs here. And then slowly, as we bring that knee in, let's round through our neck and come to meet the knee with our nose. So very active in the shoulders. We're here in this lovely position. Then let's take the leg back up again, looking towards the hands. And then bring that knee back in again to meet the nose, sucking everything in. And let's take it back up again. Last time. So maybe your right leg is bent here a little, maybe it's straight, doesn't matter. What does matter is the engagement with the core, the rounding through the shoulders. And let's take that leg up for the last time and slowly bring it down, dropping to knees. This time, come right off your hands, bring your arms behind you to touch your heels and rest your forehead down into a full child's pose. So taking a few breaths here, noticing how you feel in your belly. Perhaps your thoughts have started to wander to your full English already. Let's try and keep with the practice for now, all the good work that you're doing into your abs. And slowly raising up here, coming to a seated position. So just coming to sit. And let's come to Baddha Konasana. So bringing your soles of your feet together here and just taking a moment to find some lift and lengthen your spine. Sorry, my dogs have just come back from their walk, so they want to be involved. So finding wherever is comfortable for you. That might be an oxymoron, finding comfort in Baddha Konasana, but you might find it more comfortable to have your heels closer to your body or further away. It really depends on how your hips are. I know a couple of you have got dodgy hips, for want of a fully scientific explanation. So if you've got dodgy hips, just take whatever is comfortable for you. So just taking a moment here to hold underneath your feet in whatever position you are and use that tension in your arms to pull yourself upright. And once again, connect with the breath and what's happening in the abs here. Could you bring any more tension, intention, and attention to your ab muscles? So often we're quite passive in some parts of our body where actually we can bring far more to our posture and our structure by engaging with awareness, if that makes sense. So tuning into your abs here. Imagine doing the belly churning as we're sitting here. I think that would be impossible, but imagine it anyway. So we're sitting nice and tall. And then releasing the feet and placing your right foot wherever is comfortable. What I want you to do is grab the outside of your left foot. So you're just reaching over the top of your foot and grabbing hold of it. And just coming to where you feel you are absolutely upright. Let's just explore stretching that leg. It doesn't have to be straight. Look at, most of you, in fact, have got elastic limbs and can straighten your legs. It doesn't matter if you achieve that shape or not, but let's see how we go. But the important thing here is tune into your abs and notice how you are sitting on your sitting bones. So we're kind of in a bit of a balance here, and you might have already guessed where we're going with this stretch. So slowly, carefully and mindfully, and still with this awareness in our abs here, let's bring that foot down and let's go straight to the other side and see how we fare on this side. We are so asymmetric that more often than not, there'll be an easy side and a less easy side. So just noticing if you've got any more or less movement in this side. Maybe you've just got short arms. I have short arms, ratio-wise, so it does make things like this a little more difficult. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So just, again, tuning in with the abs, what's happening here. Could you sit any taller here? And then let's take that leg down, mindfully and carefully, still holding the engagement. And now here comes the tricky one. Get both feet in reasonably close to your body. They'll need to be quite close. Really set yourself up with your posture before you go anywhere. So tuck the chin in, really stick your chest out and lean back very slightly until you balance, where you can pick both heels off the ground. You might not see, I've got mine off the ground here. And I want you to just get this sense of balance, but you're still nice and upright. Your chin is tucked, so we've got lovely length in the spine. Just turn sideways for a moment so you can, so we're nice and long in the spine. And now Andy's going to love this. In this position, we're just going to take the left leg. So we're hovering with the right. Yay! Excellent. So the important thing here isn't how straight you can get your leg, it's how upright can you be whilst holding your structure firm with your abs and balancing on both sitting bones. And then slowly, 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 using your abs here, let's bring that leg back in. Take a moment, recalibrate, and let's see how we go on the other side. Maybe if it's difficult for you to take your leg out to the side, you could hook your two peace fingers around your big toe and take it out in front instead. There are a couple of ways to do this stretch. The benefits are still the same. We're holding ourselves upright. We're really holding our tummy muscles in here. We're getting our leg up. It doesn't have to be straight, but if we can get there. Yeah, some good looking shapes going on here. And then slowly, slowly, let's bring that heel back down. Let's just take a moment here. Marveling at our abilities this morning. And then slowly, let's put those feet back down. Well done. So just taking a moment, stretching the legs away, giving them a bit of a pat on the mat. And then banging the legs down, just easing them out. Right, off you go, doggies, you're not involved in this. And then sitting really nice and tall. So again, it's finding your sitting bones and sitting nice and tall and upright. And then bringing your arms out in front of you. Now imagine, thank you, that you are trying to reach beyond your toes. So without losing anything in the structure here, really tucking the abs in tight here, we're going to reach forward. So we're growing tall and kind of rolling over our, the heads of our femur, if you like. So the tilt is coming from our pelvis as we make up the space between our shoulders even wider and we take our fingers forward. So just tune into what's happening in your abs here. Really connect with the ab muscles. And again, without getting any smaller, let's see if we can go a little bit further forward. So all we're doing is decreasing the angle at our hips here, but we're really tuning into our abs. It will feel as though your hips are going backwards, which is what you want. So imagine that you're sending your hips backwards. Excuse me while I just blow my nose. So reaching beyond the toes. And then now very carefully, we're going to roll back over the pelvis here, still keeping the structure, very much tuning into our abs here. And slowly, 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 imagine that you are laying your spine down. Imagine it's a string of pearls and we're laying the spine down one pearl at a time. Now, the important thing here is to keep your heels down. And when we get to the biting point, remember when you learnt to drive, there's a biting point on the clutch. I want you to find your biting point, the point at which your abs are suddenly doing a whole lot of work. And we're going to stop here. And we're just going to hold it, still imagining that you're reaching forward, so we've got lots of space between the shoulders. And then slowly, 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 we're going to come up. Imagine that you're rocking back up and over the pelvis again, till we're back to upright. And then slowly, we're going to start going back down again, remembering where the biting point was. So really engage your abs here. Make sure it's your abs that are doing the work. We're going to see if we can get to the biting point and go one more vertebra. And we're going to hold it here. So heels are still on the ground. Really reach, reach, reach with your fingertips. So there's this engagement and with the shoulders where we're separating the shoulder blades here. Fingertips are reaching towards the toes. And let's slowly and with control start rolling back up till we're at our highest point and we start coming forward again. It's quite a graceful and pleasing movement, this, if you can tune into, we're kind of rolling forward and back. If you can imagine the shape that a bicycle chain makes as it's going around, we're kind of doing that move. I'm sorry about the huge dog in the way of progressing. Badger, away you go, thank you. So from sitting here, let's slowly take it down again. Each time we're finding a new vertebra to put down on the mat. So just before you get to your biting point, make sure you are fully engaged here. You've got a washboard tummy. I certainly have not got a washboard tummy, but I can feel that there are lots of muscles doing lots of work here. So check in with those heels, make sure they're really heavy. And if you're lucky, you've got a dog who's laid down behind you, and you can just relax here. And before we go all the way down, let's very slowly come back up again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze into the tummy. We're rocking up and over the pelvis, reaching forward. And then this time, and you will be pleased to know for the last time, but we're going to do it even more slowly. We're going to work our way all the way down. So set yourself up. The trick here is to engage. So really engage, squeeze it in, give it all you've got into squeezing those ab muscles. You're probably thinking, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I've been used for ages. So just imagining that shape as each vertebra is going down. So your legs will be sliding back at this point. So chin is still kind of tucked in towards your chest. Slowly, slowly, slowly. And get yourself down onto the mat. Well done. And just take a stretch here, whatever feels intuitive to you. Let your ankles roll from side to side. Have a lovely long stretch overhead. Enjoy the space between your ribs and your hips. Maybe bring your knees into your chest and take a little roll here. Perhaps your abs are screaming, perhaps they weren't too bad at all, perhaps you're quite strong in your abs. If so, lucky you, this probably isn't much of a workout. But there's more, there's more, there's more. And then from here, I want you to place your hands underneath your bum. So palms are on the mat and they're directly underneath your bum. If you've got anything like a lower back issue, I really don't want you to do this. I want you to watch and consider carefully whether this is an exercise for you. But for those of you who don't have back issues and whose abs have been well and truly woken up this morning, what I would like you to do is bring your legs up. So legs are up, hands are underneath the bum. And this is a beautiful, what's the word I'm looking for? Collaboration between the muscles in your glutes and the muscles in your abs. So I want you to bring attention to both. And very, very slowly, we'll start lowering the legs. Again, I want you to find your bite point. And then bring the legs back up again. So you'll feel the point at which your glutes suddenly switch on to help your abs, which is all good. Bring them back up again. Let's take a moment. And then when you're ready, we're going to engage with the abs and start to bring the legs down. So if you're getting any kind of warning whispers in your lower back, I want you to heed. Bringing your legs a little bit lower this time. We're going to hold about 6 inches off the mat and slowly, slowly, slowly squeezing into the abs. We're going to bring the legs back up again. And then this last time, as we go down with full engagement in abs and glutes, we are going to hover our feet about 2 centimeters off the mat. So of course I'll be stopping at that point and just coming around to check that you're 2 centimeters off, because I do this all the time, so I don't need to do it. I'm lying, I'm watching you. So just try and hover. So really squeeze into the glutes so you can feel where your hands are supporting them underneath. Squeeze into those tummy muscles. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower right down and release your hands. And take a little roll from side to side. Did everybody feel that in their abs? Give me a thumbs up. Yay, job done. I really like that one. I think there's something quite nice about feeling the support of your hands underneath your glutes. And it's a nice progressive one, and it's an exercise where you can very quickly see the gains of practice in doing it. You know, it won't be long before that's an easy peasy exercise for you. For any of you who really like doing home yoga and what have you, if you enjoyed doing that, I urge you to check out a little fitness or wellness routine called the 5 Tibetan Rites. I'll also try and remember to send that to you. But this is one of the exercises in the 5 Tibetan Rites. Apparently, if you perform these 5 exercises every day, they are the elixir to eternal youth. They're not working on me, clearly, but that's the idea. But this is one of the exercises, and there are just 5 things you need to do every day, and it mobilizes your entire body. So quite nice to look at. I will share that with you. So let's have a think. Where were we going from here? I've really lost my grip now. Yes, let's come up to seated. So still working in our tummy muscles and our glutes. This is my all-time favorite, and I'm lying. It's my all-time. I hate this move, but it's a means to an end. So we're going to go carefully and mindfully to it. I just want you to bring your feet about hip width apart and in towards your body with your heels spiked. So just sit here with a nice intentional posture. Heels are spiked into the ground, and just loop your elbows around them and pull yourself up so that you can fit your front body luggage through. So just be nice and tall. Spiking the heels here. And now just roll back into it. So keeping the elbows around the knees. I just want you to tuck your chin right in, round through the shoulders so you feel the stretch all the way down the back body. So we've done a lot of front body work. We're just easing out, giving the back a little bit of a counter posture here. And then coming back up to straight, bring your hands to underneath your thighs. You might want to bring your feet in together here. And again, finding where your sitting bones are. So you might need to adjust a bit. And we're going to just rock onto our sitting bones. So our feet are off the mat and we are sitting here holding our thighs. And then I want you to take one leg straight. We're going to hold this. So really bring your attention to your abs. Come on, Andy, get that leg up. So we've got a bit of tension going on. Our arms are working quite hard here, but so are our abs. You can either point your toes daintily, like I'm trying to do, or you can have your foot completely passive, up to you. And then let's slowly bring that down. So we're not laying right back here. We're trying to hold ourselves in a nice, long, strong, upright posture. And now let's go with the other leg. So we're holding just behind the left thigh, but we're also hugging the right knee in to give us this balance structure. So again, do what you like with the foot, whatever feels good. And then lower that leg down. Now we're going to try with both of them. Doesn't matter if you don't get them straight. Again, we're after the structure. Now, the ultimate structure that we are going for is to now outstretch our hands. I cannot do this, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Some of you might be brilliant. It's to the best posture we can do. So we've had our legs straight here. Slowly lower them. Now, letting go of the legs, let's see if we can bring our shins parallel to the mat. Super duper. So really engage with the core here. So we're still sitting quite upright. There's not a great deal of space between thigh and chest. If you clever clogsies can, straighten your legs in this position. Oh, look at Linda. She can nearly do it. Sit more upright. Who's that? Who's doing that? Shona can do it. Well done. I'm impressed. Oh, and Tina. Good effort. So we're sitting with the minimal amount of V between our thigh and our chest. So basically we want to be like that and like that. It is so difficult. My version is such a long open thing that I can't get the benefit. Andy can do it too. Well done. Adele, could you do it? Yeah, that's what mine looks like, Andy. It's such a difficult one, but do you know what? Don't lose heart. Although I hate that because I can't do it, do you know what? We're still getting all the benefits from being here. We're holding our abs in, we're getting our chest towards our thighs. We've got all the benefits here. So I say it's all good. Slowly lower. Let's give it one more time without the arms. So shins parallel. Really bring those knees in together. You'll feel everything working here. Let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with grace and elegance, let's put everything down. Who just hurled themselves to the mat? Well done. That was quite hard work. Did anyone else find that hard work? It's a challenge, isn't it? It's
Very.
a challenge. It's all good. Hey, right. So we are going to, you'll be glad to know, it's not blanket time yet, but we are going to lay down. So it will feel a bit like we're heading towards the best part of the practice this morning. So just bring yourselves down to the mat. Keep your knees bent. And really get the sense that you are spreading your shoulders on the mat here. The shoulders have done quite a lot of work today, although we focused on our abs. The shoulders have done a fair amount of work. They've been well mobilized. So let's really let them spread here and be open. So upturn the palms. That will allow external rotation in the shoulders here. And now just play with the pelvis a little bit, so tilting and rolling over the tops of your femurs, and just get to the point where as much of your spine is flat on the mat as possible. Obviously, we normally have this little natural curve in our lower back. Let's try and iron that out. So that probably means you've had to tilt your pelvis in a little bit. And now tuck your chin slightly. So we've elongated our cervical spine here. Let's just take a moment to feel how that feels, particularly in our ab region, because by tilting the pelvis this way, we've actually taken all tension out of the abs here. We've got more length in the back body and more of a contraction in the front body, but the abs aren't actually being very active here. So hopefully it feels like a bit of relief to you. Now very slowly bringing your feet to where you would have them for bridge pose, because that's where we're going to go. We're going to start tilting the pelvis in, and as we do, lifting the hips and then rolling back down, letting that natural arch be present in our back. We're just going to cycle through that movement, just making sure we're nice and mobile in the lower back after all that ab work. So each time we come up, making sure we're gently squeezing our knees towards each other, because there is a tendency for the knees to want to splay out here, and you're not getting such a beneficial engagement of the thigh muscles if you allow that to happen. You'll certainly realize if you wedge a block or anything between your knees of actually how much harder work it is. So the next time we bring our hips up, we're going to stay up. So really squeezing in the glutes here, lots of engagement in the glutes. And we're going to walk our shoulder blades in towards each other. So we're hudging them in. That's a technical term. It's a verb, to hudge. So hudge your shoulders in, so they're squeezing towards each other. Upturn the palms here. So chest is open and lifted, hips are open and lifted. And now just come up onto the ball of, or lift the heel of your left foot. Just hold it here for a moment. Notice how that's changed things. Slowly lower. Lift the heel of the right foot. Slowly lower. Lift the heel of the left foot. Now tune in with your abs, particularly the obliques, the ones that run just inside the line of your bony protuberance of your hip bone, and then lower and onto the right. So squeezing into the glutes again and lower. And this time we're going to raise up onto both, we're raising both heels. So really squeezing the glutes, attention into the abs. See if you can squeeze them any more tightly, because by 4 o'clock this afternoon, I want you to be well aware that you've done this yoga session this morning. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze into those abs. Imagine that you're trying to curl your pelvis in towards you even more at this stage. So you're tilting. And then slowly lowering the heels. Slowly releasing the tension in the glutes. Releasing the shoulders. Let's lay the spine back down, one vertebrae at a time. Take one leg away long and the other leg away long. Let ankles flop out to the side. And just take any kind of fidgeting movements that feel nice on your spine at the moment. We've been holding it up in an inversion for a minute or two. So just let it find its natural curves again. Let your shoulders spread. Find space, etc. And then slowly and mindfully, let's bend into the right knee and place the foot on the mat. And draw the left knee in towards the chest, maybe holding around the shin. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, I want you to engage your glutes, your abs, and bring your nose in towards your knee. And we're going to hold it here, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to squeeze. And then slowly we're going to lower the head, and slowly we're going to lower the leg. Now we're going to go the same on the other side. So big inhale in, and on the exhale, draw the knee in. Bring the nose up to the knee, and we're going to squeeze, so really squeezing into the abs, noticing where you're more aware of this, squeezing, 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 and slowly lower. If you find your neck aches when you do this, try sticking your tongue out between your teeth. This was a tip that was given to me a long while ago in the days when you used to do ab crunches at 1,000 miles an hour to something that Jane Fonda was leaping about to. But yeah, somebody told me if you stick your tongue out, apparently it releases the neck muscles that tighten when you're doing that kind of thing. So give it a go, see what you think. So again, we're going to draw the left knee in towards the chest. Tongues are going out between teeth. And now, while we're here in this lovely position, squeezing our abs with our tongues out, we're going to lengthen the right leg away. Just notice how this changes the integrity of the stretch and what muscles are being loaded. And slowly lay the head back down and draw that knee back in. Let's place the left foot down on the mat. Nice big inhale here. On the exhale, let's draw the right knee in. Nose comes up to meet it. Maybe you've got your tongue out. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. The tension into the abs. Let's slide the left leg away. Really long here. Notice whether or not your glute has become engaged. It doesn't matter. Just notice. And then slowly lowering that head. And bring the left knee in to join the right. And let's just take a little roll from side to side here. And then take one foot to the mat, then the other, one leg away long, and then the other. And in fact, bring the right knee in towards the chest. Take hold of the right knee with the left hand. Right arm comes away from the body at about shoulder height. And let's roll that left knee over the body towards the floor. Now, it doesn't have to get to the floor, but both shoulders do need to stay on the mat. That's the law in this pose here. So it's not about the knee, it's about the shoulders. So we're getting a nice spinal twist here. And if that feels all good, maybe lift and turn your head towards the right. So we get a really cross-body stretch here. Everything's been used this morning. Head and neck come back to center. Slowly release that knee and let it come back down over the body. And let's slide it away. Now bring the left knee in. Taking hold of the left knee with the right hand. Let's roll it over towards the right as we really weigh heavy down in that left shoulder. And you get to when you're getting to maybe lift and turning the head in the opposite direction. So head and neck are going left and left knee is going right. So hopefully you can feel a lovely stretch in your left glute here. Head and neck come back to center and let that leg lazily roll back to center and just slide it away here. Maybe take a waggle from buttock to buttock, just roll your hips here. And then bending both knees and bringing both feet up to the mat. We're going to start windscreen wipering the knees left and right. And the next time your knees come over to the left, let them go to where they're going. So see if they come all the way down. There's no prizes if they do come all the way down. But when they've got to where they're getting to, what I want you to do is lift your left ankle and put it on top of the right thigh, just to add a little bit of gravity to the situation, which will help draw the right knee down, and it will open in the right hip. There's a good old stretch going on in the left as well. If this is a stretch too far for you for your hips, go back to just doing the windscreen wipering movements. Remember that day to day these things change. So just noticing how this feels here. And then unhooking that ankle off the thigh. Let's take both knees back to center and then take them over towards the right and see how it feels on this side. So just letting the knees fall to where they fall to on the right hand side. I use the word fall without meaning letting them crash to the ground. So gently guiding them over to the right hand side. Once they're there, let's lift the right ankle, put it on top of the left thigh, and let gravity just help that go down. And notice what's happening in your left foot here. Mine immediately tensed up. I'm not sure why, but just noticing if any other muscles have come into play uninvited. Body's very helpful at wanting to recruit muscles to help do certain movements, and sometimes they just don't need to be involved. And then slowly unhooking that ankle. Let's let both knees come back up to the top. Bring both knees in towards the chest. And let's take a little rock and roll here. And slowly let's take one foot to the mat, then the other. Let's stretch one leg away long and then the other. And this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Adele, you can have your bolster now if you want your bolster. If anyone else wants any props, it might be nice, given the amount of work that we've been doing on our abs, if you want to take a counter posture for that in Shavasana, if you do have a bolster or anything handy, you might want to, I'll chuck my bolster up somewhere, you might want to just prop a cushion or a pillow or something. So we're kind of in like a supported bridge pose. So you've got something underneath your sacrum that's just allowing your front body to be stretched out a bit. Or maybe you want your bolster underneath your knees. Do whatever you like. Maybe you want your bolster under your shoulders. Just really make yourselves cozy and comfortable in whatever feels like it's giving you the most relief at the moment. So however you want, you can have your knees bent, you can have your legs straight, but just get to where you can be totally still for the next 4 or 5 minutes. We want to find stillness. We want to be able to tune into the inner landscape once more. And just to let our bodies make sense of the work we've been giving it to do. Noticing hopefully that the energy is flowing without restriction now. We've given our bodies a good old workout. We've worked most parts of the body, I think, fairly thoroughly. And our little ab muscles are silently weeping up the corner at the moment, wondering what the hell just happened. So let's bring a little loving awareness to our abs at the moment, just considering how many movements they're actually involved in. If we bring our attention to them, we can become aware of when they tune in. So remembering that Shavasana means corpse pose. So we are letting our experience of the practice, we're just leaving it behind now, we're letting it die. We've done our bit, we can let it go. And let the body get about the business of bringing a sense of well-being, making sure that all the energy that's flowing in our newly energized muscles is of benefit to us. So just finding our connection to our breath once more, perhaps tuning into the belly breath. Perhaps noticing how much more relaxed your body is now than at the start of the practice. I'm really hoping you've got a feeling of well-being washing over your body. Doing a little scan through the body, making sure that you have released everywhere that you can release. So unfurrowing the brow, letting the eyelids be soft, letting your facial muscles just be smooth and relaxed. Gently parting the teeth, letting the jaw be relaxed. Letting the tongue rest gently behind your front teeth. Letting your throat and your neck be soft. Bringing a sense of heaviness to your shoulders as they relax into the mat and supported by the surface beneath you. Thinking about the backs of the ribs and the mid-back and the lower back, all being supported by the surface beneath you. And think about the sacrum flattened into the mat, and the hips, and the thighs, the knees, the shins, the ankles, the tops of the feet, and all 10 toes, the soles of the feet, the heels, the Achilles, the calf muscles, backs of the knees, backs of the thighs, bringing special awareness and thanks to our hamstrings, which have had quite a bit of work today as well, into the glutes, the good old glutes, they've worked. And then rolling over to the front body, the very tops of our hips, coming into the fleshy part of the belly and the abs, where so much of our focus and attention has been today. Make sure that they're not being tasked with any work at all at the moment. And the soft belly, being aware of the diaphragm moving up and down, tirelessly working away without our knowledge or our intervention. And then thinking about our ribs, that protected basket, and all the treasure that sits beneath. And then the very tops of the ribs and the fronts of our shoulders that have just melted away into heaviness on the mat. So becoming aware of our bodies in their wholeness, just laying here in Shavasana, being breathed. Hopefully you found that sense of bliss, just laying here doing absolutely nothing. But now we have to turn our attention to our breath now and bringing a little movement back to our fingers and toes. Maybe wiggling the toes, gently brushing the fingertips over the tops of our thumbs, perhaps circling into the ankles and wrists. Then bringing one knee up onto the chest and then the other, and taking a couple of small rocks from side to side here just to massage that lower back into the mat. And then slowly, slowly coming to lay over on your right hand side, maybe using your right arm to cradle your head. And let's take a few breaths over on our right here, just to let the blood pressure equalize. And then very slowly and mindfully, let's come to a seated position. Keeping your gaze down, let's not launch ourselves into the physical aspects of the day before we need to. So let's keep the senses shut down just a little longer. And let's just bring our hands to meet at our heart center at Anjuli Mudra. And taking our chins to our chests here, feeling that lovely stretch in the back of our neck for the last time in this practice. Let's take a moment of gratitude and of acknowledgement for the time that we set aside for our practice of self-care this morning, where we've brought our attention to pretty much every body part, but in particular our ab muscles. And finding some gratitude for all that a strong core allows us to do. And let's not forget, as we go about our day to day and take our practice off our mat and into our day, just how truly amazing our bodies are. Thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.
Namaste.
Are we all still? We're still